Hey y'all, and welcome back. My name is Jane Corley with Pic Visions, Media Arts and Photography. If it's your first time here, make sure to like this video if you learned something new, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so you can be notified every time a new video is uploaded every week. In this video, we're going to talk about text. What is text in Adobe Photoshop? How does it work? What are the different things you can do with it? Let's jump right in. Alright y'all, I've got a document open here. I've got a few documents we'll take a look at. We'll start with this black background canvas. First and foremost, you can hit T for text, or you can come down and select it from your tools panel here. The text option is going to give you a drop down horizontal type tool, vertical type tool, horizontal type mask tool, vertical type mask tool. We'll do horizontal type tool for this tutorial. Now you can click anywhere on the canvas. It will populate with the cursor point, the font type that you have up here, and you will have a few other options as well. But once you get your type tool, you can just type. Now we can't see it. That's because the color of your type tool is selected as your foreground color on your color swatches located in the left hand side of your workspace. Black and white is selected. If you wish to change the color, you can double click on the font area. Let's just change it to white. And now it appears. Say that you wanted the font smaller. Highlight. Select a smaller font. As you see, the move tool appears down at the bottom when it is highlighted, and you can drag the type around wherever you like while it is highlighted in the live text mode. Let's make the font a little bit smaller so we have it on the same field, like so. This singular line of font is called point text font. This point text line will go forever and ever, however long you want to type. Off the canvas, way off the canvas, off into the oblivion. If you would like to type in a paragraph form, you can either right click on the layer that you've just created with the text and come down to paragraph text, and now selecting your text tool, see the marquee box that is now placed around the line of text. You can adjust the width and height of that marquee text box with the anchor points located on the corners and tops and sides to make an adjustment to that paragraph type box to be just the size that you want it for the project you're working on. To click off the marquee box, you can hit Control, Enter, or Return to deselect from the type box, or you can simply just click on the layer to select off the marquee box. If you would like to transform the box that the text that you've just created, you can hit Control or Command T to create a transform box around your text that you can now tilt, resize, hold Alt on the corner tab to resize from the center, and if you hold Shift and drag out, you will retain the aspect ratio of the type. Now if you wanted to start off with paragraph text, before we even start typing, we're going to draw a box that we wish to contain our text and create a custom form-fitted text box. If you would like to change the qualities of your text, you can highlight, change the size that we saw earlier, change the font, which is located here, and you can also change the orientation. So we can toggle the text orientation, and it will do horizontal rather than vertical type. But you can manipulate your text in a live text format in this area. You can select back on it and it will return to the horizontal type. The next thing we're going to take a look at is color. As you saw earlier, we can use the color swatches here. If you just double click on those swatches, you have a whole hue bar to choose from. You can also change the justification to the left, centered, and to the right. And as we saw in one of my very first tutorials, you can also do warp text techniques, where it will have pre-selected arch, shells, flags, waves, fish, all these great shapes here. We did arch our last tutorial, maybe we'll do the bulge, that one's kind of cool. And you can do vertical or horizontal bulge, and then you can have these slide bars to increase or decrease the intensity of the characteristics of this warp text technique. You can also find some manipulations of your text in the edit, transform. You can scale, rotate, skew, or perform warp. Rotate it 180 degrees, rotate it clockwise, counterclockwise. These two down here I use actually quite often when I'm doing some photo work and even with restorations. Flip horizontal and flip vertical. This will flip your type mirrored. You can also do free transform, and that's like the Control T command we used earlier, Command or Control T, and that will do a free transform, and you can move it around and, you know, shift the size, perform skews, flip it upside down and around like so, holding the Alt key. Move on. I'm going to go ahead and Control 0 or Command 0 to fill the screen with my image so we can see it a little bit better. Let's go to blending options next. Blending options are really great because they're going to give you a lot of options to do qualities on the actual physical type of your font. You can do a bevel or emboss. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more to the image using Control or Command plus, just so you guys can see the qualities changing in the image as we go through these different panel areas. So we have the bevel emboss. As you see, it's created a great bevel shadow around the letters, and it makes it look a little bit 3D. You can increase the depth, the size, the softness. We'll go into this advanced area down here a little bit more when we go through a whole nother video just solely on blending options. If you're not seeing these changes in your text, make sure that your preview box is selected so that you can preview what's going on. Let's move on to contour. You can choose your contour, how it's shaped. Texture is a little bit of the same thing. One thing I really did want to get to in this video about text is the stroke. The stroke is going to be the color that outlines your letters. So we can't see it right now because our background is black, but we can click on this color option and say we change it to red. Your stroke, as I said, is that line that goes around your letters. On the stroke panel, you can see that the structure has a few slider bars. The size one, you really have to be small to be manageable, depending on your font size or your item size that you're trying to put the outline around. So you can always just highlight this area over here and use your arrow key or your rolly on your mouse to go up and down. And you do have a drop down bar outside, inner, outside, inside, and center that will create a stroke with those characteristics. Then you have, of course, your blend mode that you can select different techniques to put on for a blend mode, and that can kind of give it a cool look if that's what you're looking for. And then the opacity, which we're on multiply. Let's go to normal. Your opacity of your stroke, like so. The inner shadow is really great as well. Just creates this cool inner shadow. You've got some options here as well. Inner glow. Just play with these menus, y'all. We're gonna cover it in another video, but this is just kind of showing you some of the stuff that you can do with these items and these blending modes for text. Let's see, satin I don't use too often. Color overlay, that's just what it sounds like, color overlay. You may find yourself unable to manipulate these boxes when you're checking through them. Do make sure that you're highlighted on this styles tab that you want to manipulate, because you know, if you select inner shadow, it's not going to take you to the inner shadows box. It's going to leave you on the you know, the tab that you've selected. Pretty standard stuff. The gradient overlay, same kind of thing, same flavor. The one that I use the most often is the outer glow and the drop shadow. I don't know, something about them. Blending modes, opacity, noise, you can always come in here and change your color. And the spread and soften, I will go over a little bit. You know, those are some interesting techniques to use when that's the look that you want. You know, you want to make the adjustment to, you know, add a shadow behind with, you know, a little bit more reach to define and give a little bit more of a 3D effect to whatever your type or your subject matter in your photograph or your type text or anything that you're working on. So, you know, lots of really great things that you can do in these blending modes. It will keep it a live text and will provide the information that you've changed in the effects drop down, so you can turn those effects on and off with the eyeballs next to them, just like you would a normal layer. To really have control over, do I like this or do I like that, or here's a proof for a client, there's a proof for a client, if you needed to make those minor adjustments to differentiate between two versions of a product. So let's move on to this image here. So if you want to take one step further, a little bit of excitement. So we're going to select the ellipse tool in our path menu. And I don't know if you can see it on your computer, I hope you can. There's a little marquee line drawing out the path, and it's going to fill that path for you unless you come up to the fill option in this tab and select no fill. And we will actually select a red trace just so we can see it. We will select back on to the ellipse menu to close all our windows out so we have a fresh workspace. Come down to our text layer, and unfortunately I don't know how to do it. I would love to hear it in the comments if anybody knows how to do it. Take all these effects that you've already put on, take this whole grouping of words just like it is with the blending options it's on currently. If I could just copy that onto my path, I would love to know how to do that if anybody knows how to do it. But what I usually do is just T for text, highlight my wording, Control X for cut, come to my ellipse tool, click anywhere on the path and hit Control V as in Victor to paste. And as I was saying, I would love to know how to copy those blending options along with that. If anybody knows it, please leave it in the comments. I would love to learn. Then you have to come in and do your blending options on your text layer to get those blending options the way you would like to do it. So we'll kind of just bump up a little bit. Ooh, that was too much. Bump up a little bit here and there. We'll put a nice stroke on it, highlight, and do it down a little bit with my arrow key. Come down to a little bit of an outer glow. We'll change that to white just so it's real soft and angelic. And we'll make the size a little bit bigger and come to the drop shadow and bump it out for distance so y'all can see what it really looks like. Make the size a little bit bigger, and then I like to play with the angles when I'm working on text stuff. If I can get something that looks a little bit better than something else, I like to play with it a little bit with these angles. Something like that. And then you can actually see these effects area here, but then come to your ellipse and just hit a solid delete. Get rid of that red ellipse. Okay, so let's take a look at this image. I'm actually really excited about what we're about to do because this is a little something extra for y'all. Let's select off the background layer. So we've got a blank canvas right here. And select your text tool. And that was kind of a beachy picture, so I'm just going to write, take me to the beach. Exclamation point, because for real, right, y'all? And just get it to where we can see everything. Select off. Come and select your magic wand selector tool. You can come and select it right here on this area, or your quick selection. Either one will do you just fine. I like the quick selection. You can also, as you saw, the hotkey is W. Then you're just going to run all the way over your text and do a quick select on all of your text. You'll see the marquee around your text. You see it? Then you're going to bring back on your background copy and change to your background copy layer. Your background copy layer right here. You are going to invert this selection. This selection, yes, it looks like it's selected on the text outline, but we're off that text layer, y'all. We're not doing anything with this text layer. Nothing that we have to do right now has to do with this text layer. If I turn that off, it leaves the marquee because that's the last selection we made. So if you click on this background layer, you're now selected in the shape of that take me to the beach area you see here. So as we learned in one of our previous videos, if you control or command shift I for invert, you are inverting that marquee selection. So you are selecting all the other space in the photograph, and we're just going to hit a delete right quick. Now it looks like I got rid of everything, but you see we have this background layer hidden. So if we want to continue to have that background layer hidden, and I'll show you what cool stuff we're about to do, you are now going this background copy. See how it has this cool texture of the beach that we just cut out because we deleted all that other negative space? We are going to do a Control Shift I for invert again, reselecting that take me to the beach text. Deselect, M for marquee, and deselect off, and that will leave you with the image. And perform blending options on this cutout text that you just made. So let's throw a stroke on it real quick so you can see how cool this is about to get. We'll zoom in a little bit so we can get the full effect. See how cool that is? It cuts out the photograph. That's a really quick way to do it. We'll go over a lot deeper in another video. But let's throw some blending options on it just so y'all can see how cool this, it kind of looks like money print, right? You can increase the depth just the same way we did with the text. You can make all these awesome adjustments. That text that was once an image. Control 0 to see it full screen. So that kind of gives you a little helpful hint for your creativity to run off with. I wish you all the best of luck on your adventure. So I hope this video was helpful on the ways to add text to Adobe Photoshop projects. Leave in the comments below any questions or comments you have on this video, as well as different ways that you like using text in Adobe Photoshop. Until next time, I'm Jane Corley with Pic Visions, Media Arts and Photography. Make sure to like this video if you learned something new, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell so you can be notified every time a new video is uploaded every week. Until then, see you next time, guys.